woman's mind will betray her before her body does, and the right man can make that happen without ever touching her clothes. Most men waste their lives chasing women with money, status, or empty compliments. They swing wildly in the dark, hoping something will spark desire. But you're not here for hope. You're here for control. For the kind of mastery that doesn't just attract a woman. It makes her pulse quicken before she even knows why. And here's the truth no one ever told you. A woman's hunger begins in her mind, and the tongue, used with precision, not desperation, can be the key that unlocks her most private storms. I'm not talking about crude, sloppy movements like the amateurs. I'm talking about a subtle weapon, your tongue, as an extension of your presence, your confidence, your dominance. Imagine this. You're not even in bed yet. You're speaking to her, close enough that your breath brushes her ear. The way you lick your lips between sentences, the slight trace of moisture as your tongue touches the corner of your mouth before you speak again, it triggers something primal. Because the tongue isn't just for pleasure, it's for suggestion. It whispers without words, "I know how to consume you." And women, they notice. They notice the slow wetting of your lips when your eyes lock onto theirs. They notice when you taste your own drink after she's had a sip, your tongue catching the rim with deliberate care. These aren't random acts, they are psychological cues, micro-movements that send a message: I am not in a hurry, but I will devour you. Understand this. The most intoxicating men don't need to touch to get her wet. They plant the thought first, they make her imagine it, because the imagination is always dirtier, darker, and more dangerous than reality. The tongue, when mastered, is more than flesh and muscle. It's an instrument of anticipation, and anticipation is where the true power lies. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Most men misread that. They think it means detachment from desire. But what if I told you it also meant mastering the desire of others? You see, lust isn't an accident. It's a reaction, a chain of impulses set off by precise, deliberate actions. When you use your tongue with intention, you're not just moving a piece of muscle in your mouth. You're moving her mind toward a place she didn't plan on going. Think of it like a general leading an army. You don't march in screaming and flailing weapons. You advance silently, positioning every soldier exactly where they need to be. Your eyes lead, your voice follows. Then, at the right moment, your tongue delivers the killing stroke, not with force, but with finesse. Why does this work? Because the female brain is wired to connect certain physical cues with primal memories of intimacy and consumption. A slow drag of your tongue along your bottom lip while maintaining eye contact isn't just a movement. It's an unspoken promise. It tells her, without you saying a word, "I'm patient enough to wait, but skilled enough to ruin you when I arrive." And patience is what drives her insane. A woman's body floods with anticipation when she knows you're in control of your own hunger. Most men rush. Most men telegraph desperation. The man who can hold his urge, who uses his tongue in moments of silence rather than sloppy chaos, is the man who becomes unforgettable. Here's where Stoicism plays its part. The Stoic man doesn't perform for approval. He doesn't use his tongue out of insecurity or to prove himself. He uses it like a craftsman uses a tool, only when necessary, only with purpose, and always to leave a mark. You're not there to please her like a servant. You're there to awaken something in her that she can't find in ordinary men. The tongue is your brush. Her mind is your canvas. Paint slowly, paint deliberately, and make her feel every stroke in places she didn't know she could feel. Because when you master this, you stop being a man she likes. You become a man she can't stop replaying in her head. Most men think the tongue works in isolation, a standalone trick they can pull out like a party move. That's why they fail. The truth is, your tongue is only lethal when it's synchronized with the rest of your presence. Picture this. You're standing close, your body angled so she has to tilt her head slightly to meet your gaze. You're not rushing her, you're not filling the silence with nervous chatter. You let the stillness hang. That stillness makes her hyper-aware of every detail. The sound of your breath, the slow movement of your chest, the faint shift of your jaw when your tongue wets your lips. In that moment, your tongue becomes a trigger. Never isolate it. Pair it with your eyes, eyes that don't dart away but lock onto hers with quiet authority. When your gaze says, "I own this moment," and your tongue traces the edge of your mouth at the perfect pause in conversation, her brain gets confused. Part of her wants to keep talking. The other part starts imagining you in ways she's not ready to admit. That's the sweet spot. Your posture must match. Straight spine, grounded stance, shoulders relaxed. The body of a man who doesn't seek permission to be close. When your physical presence radiates confidence, even the smallest flicker of your tongue sends a stronger message than 10 minutes of clumsy touching. And here's the psychological dagger. You withdraw. The second you notice her pupils dilate, the subtle parting of her lips, you break eye contact and shift the conversation. She'll hate that. She'll crave the return of that tension you just ripped away. And that craving will grow until she's the one leaning in. The key is precision. Too much, and you look desperate. Too little, and she forgets. But when your tongue, your eyes, and your bod, a language move in harmony, you bypass logic and speak directly to her animal brain. That brain doesn't understand words, it only understands signals. And the most dangerous signal of all, a man who can make her body betray her before he's ever touched her skin. By the time you're close enough to touch her, the groundwork should already be done. If you've played the game right, her body will be primed, her breath a little uneven, her skin more sensitive than she'll admit. Now it's not about rushing in, it's about detonating what you've built, slowly. Here's the mistake most men make. They go straight for the obvious. Lips, tongue everywhere, a frantic scramble like they're trying to prove they're good at it. But mastery isn't in chaos. Mastery is in timing. The first time your tongue makes contact with her skin, it shouldn't be her lips at all. That's predictable. Instead, graze the side of her neck, just below her ear, with a slow, deliberate stroke of your tongue. Not a lick, a stroke, a controlled glide, paired with a deep inhale through your nose so she feels your breath on her. The warmth, the moisture, the sound, all working together to short-circuit her thinking brain. And then, you stop. You pull back just far enough that she feels the loss of you. This is where the Stoic discipline comes in, resisting the urge to overdo it. A man in control of his own hunger becomes the most intoxicating thing she's ever experienced. The next move is to vary your rhythm. Sometimes your tongue lingers, tasting her slowly like you're savoring her. Other times it's a quick, teasing flick, a hint of what could come, but never enough to satisfy. Pair it with your hands gripping her waist or sliding up her back, grounding her so she can't escape the sensation. If you want her completely undone, combine this with murmured words, not compliments, claims, quiet, possessive. For statements in her ear between strokes of your tongue, statements that make her feel chosen, claimed and wanted without begging for her response. Words like, "You have no idea what I'm about to do to you," whispered while your tongue grazes her collarbone, will make her body melt before you've even kissed her mouth. And when you finally do kiss her lips, don't devour her. Let your tongue enter her mouth slowly, exploring her like you've got all the time in the world. That's when she realizes you're not just another man, you're the storm she didn't see coming. and she'll never recover from it. The most dangerous part of this game isn't what you do when you're with her. It's what happens after you're gone. Most men think the goal is to satisfy a woman completely in the moment. Wrong. The real power is in leaving her unfinished, not in a cruel way, in a way that keeps her body and mind restless, replaying every movement of your tongue until she's aching for the next encounter. You want her lying awake days later, remembering the exact warmth of your breath against her neck. You want her distracted in the middle of a conversation, feeling phantom traces of your tongue where you touched her. That's how you create obsession, by living in her head rent-free long after the physical moment has ended. Here's how you do it. After you've given her those slow, deliberate, calculated strokes, you stop before she's ready. You pull away, smile with that calm, unshaken composure, and change the subject. Or you stand up, fix your shirt, and carry on as if you didn't just rearrange her nervous system. The withdrawal is the hook, the silence after the storm. Marcus Aurelius taught that a man should be unshaken by desire, unmoved by temptation. This isn't about you being cold. It's about showing her that you're the only man in her life who won't be controlled by her beauty, and paradoxically, that makes her need you more. Never chase her after that moment. Let her come to you, because she will. The curiosity will eat her alt. She'll want to know if it was a fluke, if you can do it again, if maybe, just maybe, you're even better the second time. You become less of a man in her memory and more of a myth. And when you do see her again, you don't start over. You pick up exactly where you left off, tongue slow, eyes locked, presence unshaken. She'll melt faster because her mind has been keeping you alive in her fantasies for days or weeks. This is the quiet, patient game. The game of a man who knows his value, who uses his tongue not just as a tool for pleasure, but as a psychological weapon. A man who turns a single flick of muscle into a lingering, haunting addiction. Remember this: the tongue may touch her skin for seconds, but the memory of it can own her for a lifetime.